Howdy. What's up, folks? It's Steve Holmes. We're streaming live from Los Angeles here from the drum room. We're going to jump right in. We're going to do some warming up, some improvising, and then we're going to turn on the click to a nice, uncomfortably slow, medium tempo, either before we take questions or after. We'll see where the stream takes us, but by all means, please post those questions, post the feedback. Let me know how it sounds, and ask me anything you want, and I'll answer if I want to. All right, hope everyone's having a great weekend. Again, my name is Steve Holmes. We're going to drum. Let's do it. All right, well, a thing happened. A thing happened. Ooh, what's up, folks? Steve Holmes here, streaming live from Los Angeles. Thanks for hanging out. That was me playing way longer than I should have. It's funny. I'm like, okay, stop. Like, now's a good time to stop. But you know what? Just, it's kind of like when you're out running and you get to that point where your body's like, please stop. And you got to push through, you know, because at this point, like, it's just as much of a workout as it is like a musical thing for me. You know, like I'm trying to use the drumming thing to like get in shape and keep myself sharp, like mentally, physically, coordination wise. So cheers. That was just me like goofing around, trying to, you know, catch the wave of maybe a theme and keep the theme going and vary things up in terms of feels and tempos. And I tend to like stay on the same tempo for quite a while. And so I tried to like, you know, slow down and, you know, did some metric modulation in there. We were in 4 and then we went to 3/4. And then I tried to go back from 3/2/4 and I think we did it. Pretty sure we did it. But the tempo of the 4 the second time was different from when we were there initially, I think. But whatever, see? Like, you can't let that stop you. You got to keep playing. That's what I tell my students. You know, folks that teach may relate. You know, a new student comes in and I'm just like, play. Just, you know, play some stuff. And I know folks like, you know, myself included, like, you know, you get nervous and you're uncomfortable, but it's like, not stopping is a thing. It can be difficult. Like, play and don't stop, you know? So yeah, here we are. Folks are chatting. Folks are asking questions, rather. We're blasted into YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Kick, I believe, via Restream. So, yeah, let's see. SK is here on YouTube. He says, noise. I like that. I like the noise. Let's see. Privet says a person whose name I can't pronounce. I believe that's Russian. Apologies for my lack of lingual skills here. Mike Chilton on Facebook says, killer stuff as usual. Curious how you organize, prioritize your practice sessions. Thanks. Well, right now, there's not a whole lot of organizing other than like, man, I really haven't played for a while. Yesterday, I was in here for a while, literally just like to get the rust off. It was like it had no musical value really. I was just warming up, like playing around the kit, you know, just keeping myself busy, you know, doing lots of hand stuff, doubles, paradiddles, singles, you know, trying to do like difficult motion things, like hitting, you know, groups of 2 on things on the kit that are like the furthest away, like, you know, this and this, and like, you know, this and this, and just forcing myself to kind of do things that are a little difficult in terms of motion, in terms of speed, that kind of thing, because I knew I might try to stream today, and so I wanted to get in here because real life has been busy lately, and so not a whole lot of drumming going on these days, unfortunately. So, yes. Pardon me 1 second. Okay, that was me blowing my nose live on the internet. Okay. Any questions about nose blowing at all? Any questions? Step 1, tissues. Step 2, point the camera down as to not put embarrassing footage on the internet of you blowing your nose. Step 3, cover up the awkwardness by trying to be funny. I think we did all those, right? Okay, let's move on. Let's see, what kind of cymbals do you use? My cymbals are in the description. They should all be in the description, except actually this splash is new-ish. This is a Zildjian, it's a Oriental, I think it's a 11? Anyway, it's a Oriental splash. This is an Azuka. 15-inch Azuka with a rivet, a single rivet. This is a 16-inch custom session crash, which I love. This guy, I'm a Zildjian artist, so love the Zildjian stuff. This is a stack of what I call shaky shells. Shaky shells. This is a trash former, 10-inch trash former on top of a, I don't know. I guess we should check, eh? Let's check real quick. We put this stack together on a stream like about a month ago. This is a very thick 12-inch Master Sound hat. Master Sound hi-hat 12-inch Zildjian A custom 12-inch Master Sound hat with a 10-inch transformer on top. And this, the thickness of this really gives this, like, it helps it cut, you know. And so we kind of do a single felt and then the shaky shells and then another felt. So that's how that works. And then I got it pretty tight. This is kind of newish. This was over here previously. This is a 20-inch K Custom Dry light ride, my favorite ride in the world. Good for any style. Love this ride, best ride ever. 20-inch K Custom Dry light. These are a couple of like 18-inch crashes that are cracked to hell and just stacked together. You can see like the top one's really broken. This crash here, let's see, what is this crash? This is a 17-inch A Custom. And this guy, which I realize you can't really see that well, 16-inch, is it 16? Yeah, 16-inch custom special dry. Sorry, custom special dry. And the beauty of these cymbals, like the custom special dry and the Azuka, is that they basically serve the same purpose as a China cymbal, but without kind of like the abrasiveness that a China cymbal can give you. A China cymbal is like, these are way more versatile than China cymbals in my opinion, but they serve the same purpose. Like if you need like that kind of shotgun, you know, thing that Chinas give you, but these are like also, you know, are good for crashing, you know, good for the GHOOSH. You know, we call the GHOOSH with the floor tom and the China together. We saw that, we call that the GHOOSH. Let's do a GHOOSH really quick. This is a GHOOSH demonstration. Today's GHOOSH brought to you by Zildjian. So that's the cymbal setup, right? We did it. Love my cymbals, love my setup. I try not to be the guy that's like, oh, the same cymbal setup for years and years. You know, I try to change things up and try the new stuff and experiment with different stacks because it forces me to, you know, to play differently, to play different ideas. You know, like the combination of this stack and this big, like, this cracked, you know, crash stack is like, it's forcing me to try to come up with different ideas in terms of grooves and fills and that kind of thing. So that's the cymbal setup. Someone's asking about tom heads. Clear ambassadors on top and bottom. These top heads are getting a little old. So we might do a new heading stream at some point. Folks like the gear stuff, man. They like talking about gear. I did a stream months ago where I put up my old recording customs, the drums that you see behind me here in the corner. I set up the recording customs and we changed the heads on all of them, and that's still on my channel. That's on my YouTube channel for folks that are not aware. There's tons of content on my YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube account, please click on my channel, click subscribe. I'm trying to get the subscriber count up still. Tons of videos on there. So much content on my channel. It's crazy because all these streams, like, I just leave them up for the most part. The last stream got broken up into 2 parts because I accidentally clicked stop streaming, which was bad. I'll try not to do that today. Anyways, clear ambassadors. Yeah. Let's see. Drumeo should invite you. Yes, that's a compliment. Thank you. I love Drumeo. And a lot of my favorite performances these days are our Drumeo performances, particularly Gergo Borlai and Dave DeCenzo. Man, some of the best drumming ever on those performances. And also I like Rodney Holmes on there. Rodney Holmes on Drumeo, man. Just love that guy's playing. His groove, his just his whole thing, you know, his vibe while he's playing and what he plays, and he seems like a cool guy. I would love to have a conversation with him. I should really do that. I should really just start interviewing drummers on here, because it would be more than like, you know, how old were you when you started playing, and you know, that kind of thing. I would be playing my favorite recordings of these guys and like air drumming and being like, dude, talk about that fill, and they would be like, I don't remember. That's what it would be. Oh man, Michael Chilton says the playing was insane today. Thank you so much. Let's see, Laley, Gabriel Borla says Tony, Vinny, Dave vibe all around. Every time, great playing. Kudos. Thank you very much. Huge compliment. Huge compliment. Wow, so great. Thank you. Really appreciate the positive feedback, folks. Susan on YouTube says, I want to ask, every time I'm told to do a drum solo, it's like I'm losing ideas, so I lack confidence. How can I do a good drum solo, and what's the correct practice pattern for a drum solo? Man, talk about a loaded question, huh? Well, someone asked what brand of tissues. That was really funny. Kleenex Ultra Soft. Today's stream brought to you by Kleenex Ultra Soft. Yeah, that was funny. Man, Susan, such an important question and a loaded question, and I'll try not to spend too much time down this rabbit hole. But this is the kind of thing that folks often ask about. Just getting comfortable doing drum solos. Basically, like, there's a couple of things. Improvising is like getting the ability to speak a language, you know. And so if someone came to you and English was not their first language, they were just able to make like words and sentences only, and they were like, I want to speak freely, I want to, you know, write poetry, I want to write lyrics, but I don't speak English, you know, that well. Like, what would you tell that person? It's kind of the same question, because you have to do the same things. You have to learn all the words, and the beauty of it is you can actually come up with your own words, you know, unlike the English language where, you know, you should learn, you know, the established language first, then feel free to make up your own. But with music, you can kind of make up your own words and sentences, but they need to follow the rules of the language, you know, if you want it to fit in a musical context anyway, if you want to play with other musicians. And in the middle of a song, someone points to you, Susan, and is like, go, drum solo time. You know, you want to be able to just tell a story, you know, just as easily as if someone was like, well, tell me about your day. And you were like, well, I was late to work because I couldn't find my keys. And then there was really bad traffic. And by the time I got there, I had all these tasks, you know, queued up, and it took me a long time to do them. I had to work through lunch. And then by the time the day was over, I ended up staying late to finish, you know, what I had to do. And so by the time I got home, I was too tired to even watch TV. I just went to bed. And the next thing I know, it's time to go back to work. So there's like a story. You want to be able to do that on the drums. And so how do you do that? You become familiar with all the subdivisions, 1 through 8. 1 is quarter notes, 2 is eighth notes, 3 is eighth note triplets, 4 is 16th notes, 5 is quintuplets, 6 is 16 note triplets or septuplets, 16 note triplets, 7 notes is septuplets, and then 8 is 32nd notes, right? And so what you want to do is you want to spend time improvising with all those subdivisions and get the ability to put them together, get the ability to hear them independently, hear them together at different tempos, so that when someone is playing and they're playing a simple thing with, you know, triplets and 16th notes, that you don't get lost, you know. Let me see if I can demonstrate in the spirit of less talking, more playing. I'll try to play, like, I'll just stick to eighth note triplets and 16th notes, okay? And I'll put it all over the kit and mix with hands and feet, but I will try my best to not play other subdivisions. So it'll be eighth notes and 16th notes only, okay? And for this segment, we'll do the multicam. So I'll play like eighth note triplets and then 16 notes on the snare drum only a couple of times, and then we'll just put them around the kit. Okay, and the point is, the point is to notice that like it sounds like you're doing other things, but I'm not. I'm staying within those subdivisions. So every time you heard me like go, oh, it's because I started to play another subdivision, usually eighth notes. But like 97% of that whole thing was just 16th notes and triplets. And it was actually pretty challenging, particularly going into triplets. But I tried to play simple, particularly on the hi-hat. Just play eighth note triplets on the hi-hat and 16th note triplets on the hi-hat while keeping that boom, ba, boom, ba with the bass drum and the snare drum. Okay, so what is the point of all this? The point of all this is to encourage folks to try to achieve freedom within the subdivisions between your hands and your feet and your hands and the kit. And if you'll notice, my hi-hat was going pretty much the whole time, which is very important. We talk about that almost on every stream. Conveying the pulse, conveying the hi-hat, developing the coordination to do that while you have the freedom to do whatever else you want is super important. Playing with dynamics while the hi-hat is going, just conveying that quarter note, I think is super cool. Folks seem to like it. They often mention it and often ask about it, okay? So this is all to speak to Susan, who said, every time I'm told to do a drum solo, I'm losing ideas, I lack confidence. So talking about confidence really quick, like, confidence can only come from knowing that you can do something, like really knowing. And the only way you can know to do it is if you've done it enough to where, like anything else that you've done enough to where, hey, can you walk down the street? Yes, I can walk down the street. It's like, it's the same thing. Can you drive to the store? Yes, I can drive to the store. How do you know that? You didn't feel confident when you were first learning how to drive. You were like, oh, I guess I'll drive to the store. I hope I don't get in an accident. Now you're like, yeah, I'll drive to this. You know what I'm saying? It's literally the same thing. You just got to do it enough. You got to drive to the store enough on the drums so that you can, just with confidence, So you just got to put in the time and you'll get there. Like it takes some time. pick a subdivision and just spend like a week. Like a week is not a long time, you know. This is something I actually haven't said for a while. It's very important. Is that the advantage to practicing any instrument, and folks really need to take advantage of this. It's kind of like dog years in terms of like time, you know, being different. Like whatever, one human year is X dog years, you know. Like if you spend 10 minutes practicing something on the drums, and only that thing without deviating at all, not changing it, it's the same exact thing for 10 minutes, you are going to get better at it. 10 minutes is not a long time, you know? So if you practice things the right way, this is what I say, you got to practice the right things, the right amount, and the right way, I guess. You just got to, you know, put in the time. And don't get distracted. And don't, you know, change it or fiddle around or whatever. Like, attack the thing. Isolate the thing, attack the thing, put in the right time until you get better. Period. The end. All right? So I hope that was helpful. And what I did with, you know, eighth note triplets and 16th notes, those are just 2 subdivisions. You want to be able to do that with all the subdivisions, which is basically what I did for the first, you know, whatever, 25 minutes of the stream where I was just improvising. You know, most of that stuff was like 2 a pulse. And it's all within those eight subdivisions, you know. I don't think I went out and played like, and it's funny because there's 8, but you don't even, most folks don't even play quintuplets, 5 notes per quarter note, or septuplets, 7 notes per quarter note. So you actually get those 2 for free. It's like a coupon. It's like, you know, buy 8, only work on 6, you know, and quarter notes and eighth notes we can kind of check off the list because you're going to get those really quick. So really, when it comes to soloing, 16th notes, 16 note triplets, 32nd notes. You know, that's the stuff where you got to put in the work. I mean, you can play eighth notes and quarter notes in your drum solos, of course. You know, I'm just saying, like, it's not going to take as much work. That's actually will be more mental work to force yourself to play those slower subdivisions in the middle of, like, busyness, you know. That's not a physical thing. That's like a discipline thing. Anyway, Susan, I hope that was helpful. Anyone who is interested in supporting the channel on YouTube, there should be a super or a little smiley face $sign there. That would be great. I don't have a Patreon, so this is my little digital tin cup on the corner of the internet here where we're accepting donations. Let's see. Golden Monkey on YouTube says grooving. Thank you. Let's see. Susan, we talked about Susan BL Games. Hey, I found your channel because the COD and keep the good work. Thank you. Michael Chilton says, thanks, Steve. You're right. JKD, what brand of tissues? Yeah, we talked about that. Very important. What brand of tissue? Bo Markley on Facebook says, I just rounded this. Matt, I missed from the beginning. Well, you can go back to this will be up. I'm going to leave this up, I think, unless something disastrously wrong occurs. Hey, look, it's Lavish D on YouTube. Long-time YouTube supporter. Lavish, are you subscribed to my channel? I really hope you are. Anyway, Lavish D says, hey, Steve, I'm having trouble learning Gadd 6-stroke with bass drum. Any tips? Is this bass on downbeat or the last 6 note? Oh, interesting. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we'll do some Gadd stuff here in a second. Bo Markley says, leave this up. I can watch from the beginning. You ever heard of a guy named Dave Throckmorton? No, I have not. He's from Pittsburgh. You played with Maynard Ferguson for a while. You should look him up. Bo, I think you asked about him before, huh? Zippy41 says, bravo, Steve. Love the storytelling on the drums. Dynamic, unaspected, interesting, syncopated musical, and the drums sound top. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Zach says, nice drums. I was wondering if it was possible to bring back the old MW2 weapon icons. Oh, man, those Call of Duty fans are passionate. Yeah, I don't work on for folks that know, I'm a video game developer. I work at Infinity Ward. We make Modern Warfare and Call of Duty, and so, you know, folks ask questions about that. And it's funny because no one's just like, tell us how you make, you know, what goes into making a compelling campaign. It's like, bring back the icons from the old game. Oh, man. Let's see. Zippy says, long sustain on the bass drum. Make it flow like a bass player. Cheers. Yilt on YouTube. Sir, I have an issue about playing freely after the sticking, like I can do it in Snare or like in some familiar ways, but when I move it around the kit, can you give some advice? Yes, play it. If you can play something on the snare drum and you want to move it around the kit, you got to slow it down. You got to slow it down, and teach your body the muscle memory. That's what that is. And I have a good example of that, actually. There's something I'm working on that involves this very thing, and I can show you what it is. Let's see, Emmett. What's up, Emmett? Long time no see. So awesome as usual. Tremendous educator watching from Cancun. Practicing the ladder in the sand. Yes. Love it. Emmett and I had a conversation about the ladder, which is alternating hands and feet, and I told him that I'd spend a lot of time practicing it, actually away from the drums. So, yeah, that's cool. So we're talking about motion around the drums, and I had learned this lick, if you will, from Louis Palmer, where he does like this roll down and up the drums, and it's over 16-note triplets, and it's 2 counts worth, but it ends on the 1 of count 3. And I'm still trying to. I'm at the point where I know how to do this, and I understand the phrase, but I'm trying to come up with the best way to incorporate it into like a musical context, because it ends on a downbeat on the tom. And so I should probably just use that to like jumpstart something else. Anyway, this is for someone had asked about like, oh, I can play something on the snare drum, but not like down the kit. So this is a good exercise for like motion around the drums. I'll see if I can outline. It's just like a simple roll down and up the kit, like down and up the kit, literally, right? It starts with 2 on the snare, right, left on tom 1, right, left on tom 2. Let's do the multicam for this. Multicam. So 2, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So 3 strokes here. Let me go back up here. I think left, right, and then left, right, left, right. I'm not sure, actually. Let me do it, and because I'm just learning this, right? You're watching me like kind of digest this. So let me do it, and then I'll spell it out. So you can kind of see the challenge there. When I saw the video of that, and I don't even know if I'm doing the sticking like exactly like it is in the video. I just knew it was over top of 16-note triplets, which means 6 notes per quarter note. And the key going like from drum to drum that not a lot of folks might realize, and anyone who's marched in a marching band I might know this because marching bands do this all the time with their tris and quad, their mounted tom-toms, is you do groups of 3. you can go from like one to the other back and forth, and because it's 3 notes, you know, the hand that you start with alternates every group of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so you can use that as a vehicle to kind of go from drum to drum, and that allows, you know, allows this to kind of go down and then come back up because you do 3 on the tom-tom, right? So let me just demonstrate myself now with groups of 3. So that's really good for, you know, muscle memory, strength, just motion. You know, if you spend a little time, like Virgil's the king of this stuff. Virgil Donati's the king of this stuff. He put out an instructional video a long time ago called Power Drumming. And a big part of that is literally just taking various groupings, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and just putting his hand all over the kit, you know, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, you know, all over the place, just all the different combinations, all the different speeds. He actually does it to an accelerating click. He programs his click to speed up every, whatever, 4 bars. And it's very impressive. But the point is, like, even if you're not interested in the kind of phrasing that you hear, this is still going to help you play the stuff that you want to play, you know? And this falls under the category of folks being dismissive, myself included. Folks tend to be dismissive of things that is too hard, or they don't like how it sounds, or it's like, oh, I'm not interested. I don't want to do that. You can benefit from this kind of thing, and you don't even have to, you know, on the gig. You know, so in other words, like if you spend a lot of time doing the stuff that I'm talking about, it's going to be easier for you to go zat doon steka doon ba gotch to doon doon ga do steda des do 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 doon ba, like play the most simple. Like it's going to help. Your body's going to feel more comfortable moving around the kit because, you know, you spend a lot of time lifting 50 pounds. You go back to lifting 10 pounds. Of course, it's going to be easier. You know, your hands are going to benefit, and your body develops that muscle memory, which is something that not a lot of folks talk about. You know, these speed demons, you know, that you see out there, you know, you gotta, you know, get the speed, but then you got to get your hands to move around the kit. You know, guys like Dennis and Thomas Bridgen and Chris Coleman, these guys that are just like the fastest drummers in the world. You know, it's like just having the speed is one thing. You got to like be able to move it around. And I'm not very good at it, but I think this is a good way to work on it. So that was for, who was that for? It was someone, that was for Yilt, YILT on YouTube. Yilt said after, you know, playing freely and sticking on the snare, but then moving around a kit and having some issues. So that all spoke to that. Really helpful. Yilt says, yay. Okay, so Tristan Green says, sup, brother. Sup, Tristan. Zippy41 says, where is the second lower tom? I think in the musical case would be nice as an extra color complement. Okay. Tristan says, yeah, I can double stroke toms better than I can single. When you stick that, yeah, Virgil stuff. Yeah, Virgil's crazy with that stuff. And then get your single strokes even to know how your double can grow from those singles back and forth. Yeah. I mean, you just gotta kind of work on it. See, one of your favorite albums, ones that you feel influenced your playing the most. I love your playing. And the vid says Tom Weaver on YouTube. Thank you very much, Tom. Oh, $5 from Lavish D. Thank you, Lavish on YouTube. $5. Oh, Gadd licks are the best. This is his reminder. Don't forget, you said you talk about Gadd licks. Okay, real quick, Gadd lick breakdown. 2 or 3 Gadd things. Lavish specifically asking about playing triplety kind of phrases between the hands and the feet, and where does the foot go? Is the foot on the downbeat? Is the foot on, you know, which triplet is it on? And I'm kind of send that back right to you. Like, what triplet is it on? I mean, the answer is like, where do you want it to be? Put it there, but make sure that you come out on one okay. This is why people ask that, you know, because it's like, oh, I'm playing triplets, but, you know, if I start with right, left foot, then the foot is on the third triplet, right? It's on the whatever, one ta-ta, whatever. And so that's not a downbeat. So if you want the bass drum to be on one, you got to play a double kick at the end, right? So I like to play the Gadd triplets, you know, with my foot on the downbeat, right? Let me show the two Gadd licks that I like, and these are simple-ish. They're easy to play, hard to master, hard to put together, and even harder to like. Okay, we can all do it, fine. Like, we understand it, fine. Improvise with it, like create musical phrases with it. Like, that's like that's where you lose a lot of folks, and that's where I find the most fun is, right? So let me show a couple of the Gadd licks. The foot is on the downbeat on these licks. Okay, lavish to answer your question. Here we go. So what should happen is you make these transitions. Like, okay, what's the sticking? That feels awkward. Keep doing it. Okay, the sticking feels comfortable. It feels a little awkward, like moving my hands around the kit. Keep doing it. Okay, the sticking feels comfortable. I can move my hands around the kit. Play it within the context of a groove. Boom, bash, ba boom, boom, ba. Ba, ba boom, boom, ba. Play the groove, play the thing. Play the groove, play the thing. That's how you practice everything, right? Then get like intimately familiar with like what is the word? What is the musical intention? You know, the first phrase, it was like, like sing it to the quarter note, snap your fingers and sing it, you know, so that it can happen here. And then like, you know, that'll help you improvise, you know, and then try to put them together, which will be hard because the sticking at the end of phrase A, and then like, what is the first sticking of phrase B, and like getting those together. You know, like attaching things together in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Bloop. Yeah, in order to do that, it's like, you know, phrase surgery. You know, you got to like, okay, what's happening at the end? What's happening at the beginning? These things need to become kind of a new phrase, actually. But in order to improvise, and this goes back to, you know, we were talking before, like, you know, developing a soloing vocabulary. You want to, I mean, you got to think musically. And think of these things as musical phrases and put them together and improvise. Just like if I give you like, you know, like 3 words that only you can use those 3 words and try to express yourself with those 3 words. It's like, okay, well, I can say them longer. I can say them shorter. I can say them louder. I can say them softer and put them together in different order. It's the same kind of thing. You know, you just got to get past all the, you know, the awkwardness and the learning part and just get to the doing part, and you're not done at that point. Now it's time to be creative. There's no book on that other than, I mean, being creative with musical phrases is like, it's a thing, you know, it's a thing. And if you're having trouble doing that, just think in terms of bars. Think of 1 bar, you know, a very simple fill that contains this phrase that you're interested in. You know, and just play it. You don't have to play all 4 counts of that phrase. Just start with a simple fill and put the phrase you're trying to work on at the end of the bar. You know, boom, bash, boom, boom, ba, zap, doom, daga, doom, stigga, da, stigga, da, ba. Right. So the first 2 counts of the fill are the simple thing. Da, doom, stagga, doom. Counts 3 and 4, turning on the Gadd triplets. Like like get the foot on the downbeat, like we talked about. Keep the quarter note going with the left foot. You know, this is my take on like the 2 or 3 Gadd licks that I like. Sounds like the 6-stroke roll. It is the 6-stroke roll. Yeah. So that was for Lavish D talking about like, you know, Gadd triplety licks, and where is the foot? Is it on the downbeat? Is it, you know, is it, you know, on the upbeat, you know, it's where you want it to be. Just do what you're doing on purpose. Know where that foot is in relation to the quarter note and be able to come out on 1. Like, don't guess. Take all the X factor out, take all the guessing out, write it out if you have to, turn on the click, play it slow. Like we're talking about 6 notes. Like, you know, do it. Come on, do it. Do it. 6 notes. Come on. Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about Steve Gadd licks. Only here on the streams. Okay. Let's see. Tristan says, I'm a Rochester, New York guy. Gadd, word up. Even though he's not here anymore, I'm more of a Picaro guy myself, but Gadd is silky, slinky, and smooth. Yeah. I mean, it's subjective, right? It's not a contest, right? You know, like I like to say when comparing things, it's like a craving for one will not be satisfied by the other. That goes for movies, food, music, anything. Doesn't matter. The best drama in the world, I'm in the mood for comedy. Doesn't matter. You know, I'm in the mood to hear some slick Jeff. You know, don't want to hear Gadd. You know, I'm in the mood to hear some aggressive Vinny. Don't want to hear, you know, whatever, JR. You know, I'm in the mood for some slick JR. Don't want to hear like Alan Holdsworth. Depends on, you know, all those things. Check all the boxes. The question is like, what's the context? What are you in the mood for at the time? Let's see. Tristan says, same amount of notes. Angel Coat on Facebook. Awesome as usual. Always love the random yelling while letting loose. Yeah, that's what I call like brain farts. Um, have you ever worked on the Carlock roll? The one he does all the time. I kind of play a variation of that, but I do my own thing with it. Like, I'm kind of more into kind of the loose, flammy part of it, and Keith kind of plays it more like paradiddles, ish. I don't know. I have like my own variation of that evolved from like Elvin and Wack and stuff. And let's see, Ian Brumbaugh on Facebook says, any new recent music releases that you like? Man, Ian, I wanna. You know what? Not really. I mean, I'm like 51 now, so I just listen to a lot of yacht rock. I'm like, man, that old Michael McDonald stuff is so killing. Doobies, Eagles. When I was younger, I hated New Kid in Town. I remember being little and like listening to the Hotel California album, and I liked Hotel California. I loved Life in the Fast Lane. New Kid in Town came on. I was like, what is this garbage? Now I love New Kid in Town. Anyways, I mean, not recent, but there is a singer that I mentioned, I don't know, within the last 6 months that I really like named Ginny Marker. Ginne Marker. Amazing singer, amazing songwriter. She's got an album out called Ulteria, Ulter, Ulteria, that has a ton of great tunes on it. The title track Ulteria has almost brought me to tears, actually, like listening to it. It's just amazing kind of ballad tune that like does its thing and then like stops in the middle and then kind of comes back in with this new thing that just takes off so beautifully. Oh my God. And she's not coming to the States, I don't think, because I don't think she's popular here. And last time I said where she's from, I got it wrong, so I don't want to say exactly. But anyway, check out Ginny Marker. I like Hiatus Coyote. A lot of people do. They're very popular these days. They've been around for a while now. So there's three, if you count Yacht Rock, three recordings. Anything else? Not really. Sorry, Ian. I hope you're doing well, man. I love that you're still drumming. I hope you're still drumming, and I hope you're doing well. Ian, actually, my friend, we've only, I don't know if we've ever actually met, but we know of each other. And Ian played in a Rush tribute band a while ago, and man, just killed it. Got that Neil stuff down, man. Amazing. Let's see. Someone suggesting some recording stuff in the comments. Valerie Stepanov fusion project with Marcus Thomas is pretty cool. 2 kicks into the paradiddle to a roll is what I should have said. Yes, Tristan, I know the phrase you're talking about. Okay, so we're all caught up with comments. I'm going to play a little bit more. I'm going to turn on the click and embarrass myself. That's what's going to happen. Because when I turn on the click, I play simple and then I'm with the click and then I start to play busy and subdivide and that's when the wheels come off. But we're going to keep doing it. We're going to hold our feet to the fire and try not to suck. And if I find myself coming off the grid or playing a fill and coming out late, like I'm going to try to go back to it. I need to do that more. Like screwing up and then you keep going. It's like I understand the creative momentum, but like I want to come back and like, okay, what was I trying to do? Let's get it on the grid, aka practicing. This is 73 BPM. So my phone with the metronome keeps... This is the first time we've had this issue. My metronome is coming from like an old iPhone, and it keeps shutting down as you hear. So instead of stopping and starting it again every time, I just kind of kept playing, and then we'll deal with it next time. But yeah, I tried to do the thing, like, you know, you come out late, you know, go back and re-examine the phrase, keep it on the grid, isolate and attack. So yeah, we've been going for almost 90 minutes. So I think we're going to wrap it up here. Let's get to final comments. Let's turn on the air conditioning here. It's a little loud, so I haven't. Oh. Cheers. Always brain farting on those fives. Those toms are awesome as always, says Andy. Thank you, Andy. Yamaha Phoenix kit for those interested. Best drums ever. Let's see. The Tom Tom down and up. This is Zippy41 on YouTube. Reminds me of the Virgil Donati and one of our favorite drummers, Bruno Velarde and Furious. Yeah, the single's like down and up the kit, and it's like, you know, it's a good workout, and it's fun. I have fun doing that stuff. Let's see. Do you specifically tune your batter and rezzos to intervals, or just whatever sounds good to my? I just tune to whatever sounds good to my ears. Andy McPherson on YouTube. I just tune to what sounds good to my ears. Ian on Facebook replying to me. We met a number of times. I used to be in Darkroom with Francis Fallon. Yes, I remember that. That was an awesome band. Back in the mid to late 90s, I was in a band called we were called Fuse. First we were called Joe King, then we were called Fuse. It was a fun little pop band, kind of in the era of like Sting meets Dave Matthews kind of thing. It was great, tons of fun, and we rehearsed in this shed, literally shed that we rented from this guy, and this guy Francis, who was friends with our keyboard player and I became friends with, and he was a great guitar player, and he was in this band called Darkroom. Ian was the drummer in Darkroom in addition to the Rush stuff he had done, and yeah, just amazing drummer. So cheers, Ian, and Francis. Yeah, I've always wanted to put those old demos that I did with that band, Joe King / Fuse. I've always wanted to put them on a SoundCloud because some of those tunes were pretty catchy, you know. I always thought that would be a good reality show, like try to get the band back together, you know. And I've actually tried. I've reached out to some of those guys. But our singer's Scottish, and he's in Scotland, and he's MIA, man. He is off the grid. So, but that was fun. Maybe I'll share a little Fuse or Joe King on the next stream. We'll play some and kind of go down memory lane. We had really good, well-produced demo. Greg Ladani, rest in peace, from Toto 4 fame, worked with us a little bit. Super nice guy. Got our demo sounding really good. Tried to work with us and help us out. So that was a fun little adventure in the 90s, back, you know, kind of before the internet took off and bands were trying to make it. Oh, man. Good times. LA in the 90s, man. And the 70s and 80s for that matter, but I mean, I'm glad I caught the tail end before the internet took over. Let's see. So I think we're going to call it. Emmett and Ian, thanks for hanging out. Everyone else, thanks for hanging out. If you're not subscribed to my channel on YouTube, please do so. Lots of content on there. And I try to give the heads up when we do these streams. There's no real schedule, unfortunately. But I try to give my YouTube subscribers a heads up, like a 60-minute heads up, which I did today. So yeah, keep drumming. Have fun. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And we will see you folks next time. Again, my name is Steve Holmes. Thanks for